What's going on, guys? This is Red Ninja bringing you some Keynote to Toten with randoms. What I'm going to talk about in this video is I'm going to give some more tips. I just want to go over, my basic 5 tips. It's basically, if you follow this, I believe you become a very, a good zombie player. Maybe even a great zombie player. It all depends on what you put into it, but this is going to be pretty much your roadmap. Number 1, pro players play fast. You have to focus on speed. Number 2, pro players use the most powerful guns. You got to use the wonder weapons. You got to know what your most powerful setup is. Number 3, pro players test their theories. If you want to know how the game works as opposed to how it really doesn't work, you have to test the things that people tell you. You can't just believe them or not believe them. Number 4, pro players play the fastest strategies. It's all about a faster strategy. It's not just having a strategy, but, it's all about what's the fastest strategy. And that's what pro players want to do. They want to get through the rounds fast because, once again, pro players play fast. So you need to be following the fastest strategy that you can do. And number 5, pro players do their homework. They watch the best. They study the game. So in this video, I'm going to give you 5 new tips, okay, to add on to those. And the number 1 tip that I'm going to give you right now about pro players is pro players learn from their mistakes. You go down, you do something wrong, learn from it. Always look at what you could be doing better. Learn from your mistakes. If you take it down, ask yourself, what can you do to avoid that? What could you have done to avoid that? And there's more than one answer. You could have cut back this way, or you could have cut back, but just because you could have cut back this way doesn't mean that you couldn't have done a double cut back. I believe there's always more than one answer. And whenever I've always pondered on, my downs and my mistakes, I've always come up with, multiple answers. And, I learn from my mistakes. That's why I don't have many downs. Number 2, pro players know their limits and play safe. This is very important. I've been doing 0 down games shortly after I started playing zombies and became pretty decent at zombies. I mean, I started playing zombies in the summer of 2012. I have not been playing this game since it came out. I had not played World at War zombies when, back in 2008 when that game came out. My first COD was Black Ops. Okay, before that I'd never had any COD experience. So, and I didn't even, when I first got Black Ops, I played the multiplayer. I never really messed with the zombies. I think around summer 2012, I even did the campaign for the first time. I just got the game because, friends were telling me about it, and, that's pretty much how it was. And I tried the zombies a few times in 2010, 2011, and I wasn't good at it, and I didn't like it. And, by the way, in this game, I really went pretty crazy on kills. I mean, I have like 50 kills by round 5. I mean, 30 kills by round 3. I mean, I was just really, pushing that gas pedal, just trying to go faster, making decisions on where I wanted to place myself. But, you watch this gameplay and you decide for yourself while you're listening to me talk. And I'm going to be going through these tips. So far, number 1, in this video, this is 5 new tips. Pro players learn from their mistakes. And number 7, pro players know their limits and play safe. And I want to explain a little bit more about that. like I was saying, I've been doing 0 down games since pretty much, let's see, I started playing zombies again in, summer, let's say, I think it was around July 2012. By the time September rolled around, I was probably better than your average player. I mean, I was doing better than anybody in the random lobbies, usually, more than likely. I mean, it was pretty damn good, and I was still doing 0 down games. Okay, I was hitting 50s co-op, 50 rounds plus co-op. I was carrying people. I was carrying the game. I was doing 50, 100 rounds solos without downs. But I was very limited in what I could do. I was only able to run the stage. I was only able to run, then I learned how to run the lobby. So for a long time, I was only able to run the stage and lobby. And I knew my limits. I knew where I needed to place myself and where I needed to be in order to stay alive. I knew that there were some things I really figured out early on, where it didn't matter that I could only run those 2 places. I could still survive in the game if I made sure that I was, I mastered running those 2 places. And I think that that could be another step all on its own, is, master running an area. I learned that, just running around the map was not a good idea. It's, unless you do it, there's ways to do it where you can run the map. I mean, that's a whole nother story. But I mean, that's not a pro strategy. That's not a fast strategy. That's a noob strategy. But what I'm getting to is you have to know your limits, no matter what kind of player you are. If you want to survive, if you want to clutch it, you have to know your limits. If you want to be able to clutch the game. If you're playing with other players and everybody's down and they all bled out and you're all that's left and you want to carry this game and you don't want to let the team down, you have to know your limits and you have to go into, safe mode. And pro players know how to do that. I mean, there's nothing I hate more than being the last one alive and, dropping the ball and not successfully carrying it. Nothing I hate more. Because that's what people in the public matches do. When everybody bleeds out, the game's fucking over. And with these public randoms, they can't. Very rarely can they carry it. Especially, they could very rarely carry it in a low round, let alone a higher round. But like I said, there's nothing I hate more than not being able to carry it. I mean, nothing gives me more satisfaction is when everyone bleeds out. Say I'm playing with some good players and they all die and I can't get them, and they all bleed out, and they're like, "Don't worry about me, just carry it." And when they're all doubting me, saying, "Oh, it's probably fucking game over, he's gonna die," and it's the beginning of round 35, 40, and I just carry it like a fucking boss, not a fucking problem. That's where you want to be. You're an outstanding player. You're a fucking Rambo. You're the savior of the team when you do that shit. So pro players know how to do that. They know how to play safe. They know their limits. Okay? Now, I can do a lot of shit that looks very risky because I'm a faster, more experienced player. I can run every room. But I know how to play safe. I know what my limits are. So it's very important to know what your limits are. If all you can do is run the stage, if that's all you can do, and you mastered that, and you can do it without fail, then by all means, you better know that's what you should be doing. If you have to clutch it, you better get to that area. Hopefully, you'll push yourself and get better, which will run me into one of my other steps. Is that pro players are not afraid to fail. That's another step that I'm going to say is number 3. Pro players are not afraid to fail, and this is another thing that I want to talk deeply about, because there's some people out there that I've been trying to help, trying to coach them, and give them advice on how to get better at zombies. And the problem the reason why they haven't, and they watch pro players, they're watching the best of the best. In fact, there's some people out there that I know, they're watching more than I am. Okay, they're doing even more homework. But the reason it's not necessarily working for them the way they would like it to, and the way I would like to see them, they're not getting as good as I'd like to see them get, and they're probably not getting as good as they'd like to see themselves get, is because they're not treading into those deep waters. They're not trying to, like, say, for instance, I got a friend, he's watching speed runs and stuff, and when he plays, zombies, he continues to keep playing the same way that he's always been playing, because he wants to survive. He's afraid to fail. He doesn't want to, fall on his face. And that's exactly what you're going to have to do. You're going to have to, say you watch a 50-round speed run on Keener to Toten, and you watch someone do it, like a world record player, like Zombie Tube for you, or Nuker, or any of the ones that have like the top speed runs. You have to continue to do what they do. You have to start the box in the MPL room, and you have to continue to hit that box fast, try to get your setup, and you have to run the boxes. You can't just say, I'm going to leave a crawler and do it safely and stuff. This is solo. This is where you're pushing yourself. I totally understand when you're playing in co-op and you want to survive, you want to play it safe. But when you're playing by yourself, don't be afraid to push yourself and fail, because you're going to learn from them failures. You're going to learn what you should do, and what you should not do. And so don't be afraid to fail. So, pro players are not afraid to fail. I've watched so many top players do this. I've watched Phoenix do this. I watched him play Shangri-La, and, he's got the world record on that. But I've watched him fail and fail and fail and fail. I've watched him on Twitch, okay? I've watched Dressed for the Occasion play Town. I mean, he had the world record, or was tied at the world record. He's got a 91 on Town. That was one of the top. I mean, that wasn't the world record. I believe that the world record is 94 by Economy Yo. I give him that, and so do a lot of other good players that know of him and have seen him play. So but as far as if you want to believe that, if you want to believe everything on zombie records, that's your choice. But 91 on Town is a good round, and there's very few people that have been that far. But I've watched Dressed for the Occasion when he couldn't even make it to round 30. He was attempting for a world record. The guy couldn't even make the round 30, but he continued to play. He continued to play, and he continued to watch, and he's always pushed himself on Town. Always pushed himself. And I admired that, because he jumped into the deep end and he learned to swim. That's what pro players do. A new map comes out, they want to learn a new map, they want to master a new map. They're not afraid to fall on their face over and over and over again. So pro players have that determination. So I definitely think anybody that's a good zombie player is a solo zombie player. They know how to play solo. I would not be the player that I am if it wasn't for playing solo. That's just all there is to it. You have to practice this game solo. You have to know how to, you need to be able to go, 50 rounds solo. 100 rounds solo. You gotta be able to do it. You gotta be able to survive it. One way, shape, form, or another. You have to be able to do it. I don't care if you're not doing it the fastest. It doesn't matter. But if you want to be able to do it co-op, you have to be able to do it solo. So don't be afraid to fail. If you watch some speed runs and you study them, and I suggest watching 50 round speed runs on whatever map you want to learn how to play, and watch the best of the best, and watch, not just the first place, watch all of them, and pick up little things here and there, and just really burn it into your mind, really burn it into your memory, and then practice it exactly the way they do it. Push yourself. Make yourself run those boxes. If you're not getting your setup right away, run the boxes wherever they are, and kill the zombies at the same time while you're hitting the box. Make it work, okay? And if you die trying, you start right back over. That's all there is to it. You have to do it. You have to. You're never gonna be able to do it until you just do it. You have to just keep at it. You're never gonna be able to do it. Just like if you lift weights and you wanna get stronger, you want to increase your bench press. You have to lift heavy weights. You can't just sit there and throw 100 pounds on a bar and just bench it 10 times, 15 times, and expect to get stronger. No, you need to get someone to spot you, and you need to fail. You need to max out, and that's why you need a spotter there. And then you will get stronger. Okay, anything you want to do, you have to. That's how things work in life. So, fourth step, I would say pro players think outside the box. What I mean by that is, these are kind of more advanced pro tips, I would say. Pro players think outside the box. Let's say, you have a strategy, a way of playing. This is another thing that, these randoms, they always just stick to what they know. They always stick to their minds are so closed that there's only one way to do something. You always have to do this. You always have to get the Bowie knife. You always have to use this gun and that gun. Everything is just, they have this process set in their minds. And a lot of people do it. They have a strategy. Even players in the random lobbies, they have 50s and 60s on their leaderboards, and they know the fire trap strategy. They do everything the same way. Well, there's a new the strategies keep evolving, and there's now a new 3 triple trap strategy where you run into the dressing room after you hit the theater trap. That's thinking outside the box, because pro players are obsessed with speed. They want to be faster, so they're always trying to think, how can I tweak the strategy, or make an adjustment here and there, or do something a little bit different to be able to run through these rounds faster, because that's what it's all about. You want to break a world record. If you want to get the highest round on Keno, you have to play faster. Okay, I mean, the record is still, I believe, 158 with 2 people. If you want to beat that record, it's a reset record. You're going to reset after 72 to 74 hours. If you want to beat that, you have to play faster. That's all there is to it. You have to play faster. The Black Ops 1 records are pretty much all, pushed to their max. They can be beaten, but people need to get faster. Okay, there's very little luck involved. Yeah, there's some luck. You can, you got your 4-rounders and all that. You want to get more 4-rounders and for dogs, and there's other things, but when you're doing trades, you want to good fast trade luck is good, but you have to be fast. You have to play fast. That's all there is to it. And playing fast is cool. It looks cool. So don't be afraid to think outside the box, no matter where you're at in this game. That's the big problem when I run in these random lobbies and I'm saying, hey guys, let's all go run in this room together. And I always get, told, what are you, crazy? We're all going to die. They won't think outside the box. and that's one big reason why they're not pro players. A pro player will always, listen to you if you have a new idea, even if you're, at a top level, and you say, hey, I got a new idea on how to do this strategy. A good player will always be open to try something new. They'll listen to it. They'll say, well, they'll think about it intelligently. They'll if you have a new idea or a new theory, they'll test it. It goes again that pro players test their theories. They don't just, tell you you're crazy or you're wrong. And, if they're going to tell you you're wrong about something, they have concrete evidence that show you that you're wrong. So, never be afraid to think outside the box. Okay? Don't be afraid to step out of your comfort zone, because that's anything in life. These steps go to anything in life. You have to, people who are successful in life, are not afraid to step out of their comfort zone, because that's how you learn a lot, when you step out of your comfort zone. So, know when to know your limits and when to play safe to survive, but also don't be afraid to fail. Don't be afraid to step out of your comfort zone. Don't be afraid to think outside the box. And I'm going to come to my fifth and final step for this video, which is pro players focus on mastering a few maps. That's what I've noticed this with some of the most top players that I know, some of my most favorite players, and some of the most top, pretty much every top player that I know of, they always focus on mastering a few maps. They have that one map that they're well known for. One of my favorite zombie players is a guy named Nuker. He's a French player. He's all about Ascension. He's got the round 30 speed run in Ascension. He's got the 50 speed run in Ascension world record. He's got the 100 speed run. He's got the world record solo for 2:21. I hope someday he'll go for trying to beat the 160 co-op record. I believe he can do it. I believe he's going to hit 230 rounds on Ascension solo. But this is what this guy plays. He can play other maps, but he's very focused on Ascension. He plays Ascension. That's what I'm getting at here. Look at Steve IL. Okay, that guy plays every map. Okay, everybody's gonna say, well, what about Steve? He plays every map. But you know what Steve is most known for, where he really has put a lot of time into, is No Man's Land. Okay, that's what I'm getting at. You have to be able. It doesn't mean you can't play other maps, but master a map, master a couple maps. That's one of the things that I do. My best maps are Kino, Ascension, and Derice. Okay, those are some of the maps that I focus a lot of my time into. Those are the maps I have the most fun playing. I brought up Dress for Occasion. Dress for Occasion plays pretty much nothing but town. He could play farm. I mean, he's done stuff on farm, but he plays town mostly. Okay, he's played a lot of games. He's done a lot of high round games on town. He's done a lot of 70s, a lot of 80s. He didn't just get the 90 and 91. He's done No Jug. He's done No Magic on town. That's what I'm getting at. Learn to master a map. Pick one map or two maps, and probably be better to pick one map and just play it, master it, play it as best as you can. Learn everything you can about that map, because that's gonna make you, I believe, a better zombie player overall. Okay, that's gonna make it easier for you to, even if you get thrown in a, in a map that you don't play, I still think you're going to be better off, because You just are. It just happens that way. I mean, when I first got Black Ops 3, I hate Black Ops 3. I don't like Black Ops 3, and I don't know much about playing Black Ops 3. But you know what? I can go play Black Ops 3 with randoms with no jug, and I can survive. And it takes 3 hits to down. So pretty much playing Black Ops 3, because it's such a piece of shit easy game, you don't really need jug. And I don't know where everything is in there. I've played the Horizon Drop map, and I played until all the randoms quit, which is usually about 25 rounds, and everybody dies and quits, and guess who's still alive? Me. Why? I don't know where the fuck I am in that game, because I didn't put a lot of time into studying that. But it doesn't matter. I could stay in the second room. Once I left the first room and stayed in that little courtyard area, all I did is I just stayed alive. I grabbed the wall gun, and I knew how to stay alive. I knew how to survive, and that's all that mattered. And it was good enough for me to survive with randoms. I outdid all the randoms. It was easy, okay? But I didn't enjoy playing the game. I mean, it looked kind of cool. I think the regular DLC maps look better than the Chronicle DLC. I think the remakes really, they look like shit to me. I don't like them at all. That's just my personal opinion. But I'm just digressing some more. You have to focus on something. If No Man's Land is your thing, focus on No Man's Land. I think you're much better off. I know I could tell you tons of zombie players that are known for they're known for a certain map. There's certain zombie players that are known for playing Origins, and they have a world record on Origins, but they don't have any world records on other maps. Everybody that I know that I could think of is that's a pro player, a real pro player, and has the skills to show for it. They've mastered. They have that one map that they've mastered. Okay, Phoenix. He always focuses on when he wants to hit a map. I remember when he was after Moon, he was on Moon. Then when he was done, setting a record at that time, he went on the Shangri-La, and it was all about Shangri-La. Now he's on Verrückt. You have to just. Don't put don't scatter all your eggs all over. You have to kind of keep your focus narrowed, and you got to master one map. So let me just go over these 5 new tips again. These are more advanced tips. Pro players learn from their mistakes. Pro players know their limits and play safe. Pro players are not afraid to fail. Pro players think outside the box. And pro players focus on mastering a few maps. If not like one map, one map or one game type. Another good example is you have your first room players. There's some first room players out there that's all they do. They play first room, okay, and they have one map that they like to play first room in usually. There's like. Some of the first room players that I have the most respect for, that play like Verrückt first room. I think that's like the first room map. And you got guys like Extreme Toker and was that guy Blackette. They really stay focused on playing first room Verrückt. You have to master. There was something I was told one time that in martial arts you could learn 100 punches, okay, and have all these weapons in your arsenal and all these different punches, but you're much more effective when you master that one punch. One punch that's mastered is more effective than 100 punches that are different variations of punches that are learned or strikes that are learned, if you understand what I'm saying. So that's pretty much what I'm getting at. You have to focus on a map and master it. Um, Me, I'm just a casual player. I really don't consider myself really have mastered any map. But you know what? I can learn from what I'm saying here. I should be going back and playing Keno. I had a good player tell me once. He said, play Keno, play Keno. He kept telling me, play Keno. Go on Twitch, because I have I could stream on Twitch if I wanted to. I have an Elgato, but I don't like to. But he's like, play Keno. Just keep playing Keno. And I'm like, I'm sick of Keno. Everybody tells me play different maps. But it's really ringing a bell. If I was to just play Keno or just play Ascension, you know, it would make me better. Nuker plays more than just Ascension. I mean, he knows how to play Ascension, but he's got records in other maps. I mean, he's done well. He could run Darice. He could do pretty much any map, but he's focused so much on Ascension that he's just getting better and better and better. And that's what I noticed. There's some other guys like Crumpets and Derek. They play and I'm trying to think of it. There's someone else now. I can't think of his name. He's got the world record on the speed run on Darice. Ludator. There's another guy who just plays Darice. These guys are only playing a few maps. They play Darice, they play Ascension, and they're just getting faster and they're pushing the limit, and they're sooner or later one of these guys, I believe, is going to be able to hit 50 rounds in under an hour. I mean, I think it's a possibility. It's going to be crazy to see that done, but I mean, I think Lutor's got a 1 hour and 2 minute on Darice, and Nuker's got a 1 hour and 4 minutes 50 on Ascension. I mean, you may think it may be impossible. I mean, that it's gonna be hard to beat that 2 minutes or that 4 minutes, but these guys, they keep thinking outside the box. They keep pushing themselves. Sooner or later, someone's gonna they're starting to hit 30-minute 30s. It's just sooner or later I think it's gonna happen, and I want to see it happen. It's freaking crazy. But these guys, they just keep thinking outside the box. They keep refining these strategies, and sooner or later they'll get it done. So learn from your mistakes, know your limits, and know how to play safe. That's depending on what kind of player you are. I mean, other people have different limits. What I can do, it might not necessarily be what you can do. Learn to master run in a certain area and know your limits and know how to play safe. Master running every area in the room. That was one of the things I did when I first started playing zombies. I always ran the stage, and then I always ran the lobby, and then I learned how to run the alley and the MP40 room. You have to master, running every area. And, think outside the box. Don't be afraid to fail. And master one map, 2 maps, or 3 maps. Just that's my advice for today. That's my 5 tips today. And if you focus on speed, if you always go for the most powerful guns, if you test your theories, if you play the fastest strategies, if you do your homework, I think in a very short time you'll see yourself get better and better and better. You watch the best, they're going to let them rub off on you. If you're watching shitty YouTubers that aren't the best, then you're not going to be very good. That's all there is to it. You have to find the best players and watch them and learn from them. So that's all. This game's coming to an end. Hope you guys enjoyed the gameplay. Thanks for watching. Peace.